We're good at things. Well, welcome to the very first Clip Studio Paint Lesson 1, the basics. Today I'm gonna teach you just like the very basics of this program. So if you understand this, I'm sorry, but I have to start somewhere. So this is where we're starting. We're gonna start with my beautiful overview title, and we're gonna go to new. And can you see that? Yeah, all right. I'm gonna just assume you can see stuff. So if you're starting a new illustration, it's always gonna name it illustration. You can name it right here, like test file. And you can do all of these presets. So you can see like sticker size and stuff. These are just like standard things you can do. But if you're gonna do, you can also do like A4, A5, A6 postcard, and then the Bs, which I think are European question mark. You can also do postcard size, but whatever you do, whatever you're doing, if you're gonna print it, see this resolution down here? It has to be 300 at a minimum. That is 300 dots per inch for a printer. If it's less than that, it will look like crap. Which is why I draw very large in case I need to print it someday. More dots, better resolution. Yes, that is correct. If you're just doing web page stuff, you can lower the resolution. But I keep it at 300. I have a friend who keeps theirs at 600 for some reason. But keep it at something. Also, like the higher resolution, the more your computer might chug. So if you've got a lower end computer and you're not gonna print it, dip that resolution down. Here's where you can pick color, gray, or monochrome. Yes. You can change your paper color, but you can change your paper color at any time. When I say grading my paper, I usually mean like I'm gonna turn it a color. You've probably heard me say that in sketch days, because that's when I'm usually grading my paper. I don't mean like giving my paper an A or a B or whatever. There's also templates. If you make like web comics or just regular comics, they have all of these templates, which I'm not sure you can see. You cannot. There. Now you can see it. Oh, hi, Mark. Oops. There we go. So you can see the templates now. And you can load any of these templates. And it'll just make it for you. So see, it just made it. Grumpy face. And it'll just like pre-render all of these panels for you. But we don't need that today. Here you can have open, so if you have a file you want to work on, you can open it. You don't need to see my files, so you can also do recent. Like here's all the things that I've recently worked on. Here's Idiot Cat, Sketch Day, Vroid previews. You can save as, which will save your current illustration file as a new file. You can export it. This is how I get my beautiful PNGs. You can do any of these, BMP, JPEG, PNG, TIFF, Targa, Photoshop Big Document. You can do animated GIFs, animated sequences, animated stickers. You can export to Webtoon. You can export vectors. So if you're making like a vector drawing or a vector design in Clip Studio, you can actually export it and then import it into your 3D program. Like say you're using Blender or whatever, you can import your vector file. There's a time-lapse thing here where you can record what you're drawing as you're drawing it, and it'll just export that video for you. It doesn't record time, it only records what you're doing. So the videos are very like nice and short speed draws. It's very nice. I never use it because I'm not that smart. I should, but I don't. You can import an image pattern from an image. You can create a file object. You can import a movie. You can import 3D data, vector, pose scan, don't scan device. Print settings, you can print directly from Clip Studio, but I do not currently have a printer hooked up. You can go to preferences and change a lot of things. I don't recommend doing this unless you know what you're doing. Especially if you forget that you've done it and then you go look up a tutorial and the tutorial doesn't work because you have the wrong hotkeys or what have you. Command bar settings. It's just that stuff. For some reason you can connect to a smartphone. And then there's a bunch of like things you can set up to. I don't use, and I don't know anybody who does. And then if you want, you can open that Clip Studio launcher again from here. You can also open it from here. And the reason you might want to do that is because you can download things from the launcher for free. Much of it is for free, and I'm talking like you've seen me use the poses. I use poses, I use models, I use brushes, I use patterns, all that stuff. You can get it for free because other users just put it out for free. That's new, open, save, undo, redo, delete, delete outside selection, fill, scale, rotate. You've seen me use this a lot. Deselect, invert selection, show border of selected area. Snap to ruler, snap to special ruler, snap to grid. You've probably also seen me do those things. And nobody's gonna connect their goddamn smartphone. Although I say that, but there are people who have Clip Studio Paint on their smartphone and they draw on their smartphone. You can absolutely do that. I have seen people do that. However, telling you now, Clip Studio Paint for Android and iOS is a monthly reoccurring fee. It is not a one-time buy. And if you own it on the computer, you do not own it on the phone. Let me grab some tea. Already feeling like Mark. I've been at this for like 10 minutes. Yeah, that's why most people are like, just get Procreate if you want it on the iPad. And I kind of agree, because that's a one-time fee. Alright, we're moving on. I'm gonna go like so you can see better. So this is the zoom tool. You can zoom in. You can zoom out. I can screw up my whole zoom thing that I did. Yeah. And you can add subtools to this. I don't know what subtools you'd add to zoom, but some people are very particular. So move is like just pan and scale. And then rotate, you can rotate your entire painting so that if you're drawing and you're at a weird angle for your drawing, you can just rotate your canvas and then you can continue drawing. Sort of like if you're sitting at the table and you rotate the paper so that you can draw a straighter line. You can do that, yes. It's also on... it's also over here, under the navigator. You have zoom in, zoom out, 100%, fit to navigator, fit to screen, and then rotate left, rotate right, reset rotation, flip horizontally, flip vertically. And then that should have zoomed us back in, I assume. I'm not looking. This is the object operator. So you can collect, you can select object, select layer, select light table, edit timeline. Select object is just you pick up the thing that you've highlighted and move it around. Select layer when you have multiple layers. You can like highlight the thing that you're looking for, and it should take you to that layer. To be fair, I don't know what light table does. I've never used it. I've never seen it used. Edit timeline is if you're animating in Clip Studio, which we are not going to get into today, but one day I will do an animation like overview. I'm not an animator, but I understand most of it. Move layer just takes your entire layer and moves it. It's a little like move operator, but move operator moves an item apart. So like if this text was on the same layer as other text and I used move layer, it would move the whole layer. If I used the operator, it would move just that. Selection. I'm sure you've seen a selection tool before, especially if you come to my streams, because I use it to correct my line art all the time. So this is a selection, and it selects all pixels inside of the box. So this doesn't really work for vector, but if you do need it to work for vector, you select that, and then you go up to select. You go to select overlapping vectors or select vectors within area. And from here, you can shrink selected areas. So if you've got it like a little too big, you can select it, but you can shrink it, you can expand it, you can invert it. So now, yes, some of them do share shortcuts. I tend to work with just like the brush or my pen tool or the mouse or whatever. I don't know why. It's just the way my brain works. I do hit Control Z a lot, but you know, Control Z is undo universally, including in this program. If you want to crop, this is one of my quibbles with Clip Studio. If you want to crop, you have to select what you're cropping. So, like, if I wanted to crop in just Studio Paint, I have to highlight it correctly. And then I hit crop, and it'll crop to the largest part of the selection at all sides. somebody I watched made a little thing that flashes every time they use the Control Z hotkeys, and I was like, if I did that on mine, it would just be Control Z rave. So there's a rectangle, ellipse, so you can make a circle. This is handy if you want to fill it. Preferably with a color we can see. The lasso tool, you can draw with it. I have seen people literally draw with this tool. They just make art and they fill it. And it's one way to get like that lineless look that a lot of people like. So there's my beautiful shape I made. I don't do that because it never looks good when I do it. It looks great when they do it. Polyline, make any kind of harsh like square, not squared, but like acute angle polygon. And again, if you crop it, it'll crop to the largest points. Undo. There's a selection pen. Yeah. So you can draw and be like, I just want the parts where I've drawn to be a thing. And it does it. It's beautiful. You can erase selection. I don't want this part now. Can get some wild abstract art that way. You can shrink selection. I don't actually know how this works. I've never seen it before. I've never actually looked at it. Shrug emoji. I'm sure it's great. So, let's make some squibbles. My beautiful modern art. So this is the magic wand tool. If you've ever played with Photoshop or pirated it, right? You can just click on a thing and it'll magically select all of the pixels that are the same color. You can make that tolerance higher. You can make that tolerance higher, so say this green is just like slightly different green. So if I just want to select the lighter green, I'd bring the tolerance down. See, it only selected the light green. Oh no, it selected both screens. Tolerance down. Boop. So there, it's only selected the light green. But if I bring the tolerance up, it'll select things that are closer. So it's like, tolerance is like how many shades away. So right now I have it set at 16.8. So the higher your tolerance, the more colors closer to it that it will pick. Area scaling. When you click, so if I have this set to, sure, -14, you'll see that it selects inside of where the green is, because it's decided that that's 14 pixels in from the point at which it would have normally been selected. You can also turn this up. How about something visible? No, it just doesn't want to do it, huh? I guess not. I guess it doesn't work the same on this one, but you can still do expand selected areas by like 12. This is good if you want to do like an outline. So like I can do a new layer and then fill this with this color, and now there's an outline. So that's an easy way to do outlines. So refer to editing layer only is the layer that you're on. Refer to all layers refers to every single layer and selects only that color per layer. Selection for referred layers means that you can pick your layer, and you'll see me use this little lighthouse looking thing a lot. This is the reference layer button. So when I make line art, I hit the reference layer button on the layer on the other side, which you can't see right now, but I promise that button's also there. And then I use that to color in all my lines very quickly and easily. This is the eyedropper tool. I use it all the time. I mix colors on my canvas as I'm working. Not everyone does that. I just find it easy. So like, I want this color, but I want a blue version of it, or whatever. So I will go down and I will pick a blue, and I'll bring my opacity down. And I'll just mix a color here. And then I'll take my eyedropper tool and I'll be like, I want that one, or this one. And it'll eyedrop that color. And then it would help if I turn my opacity back up. And now I have that color. Yay! Hi, Paul! Hello, niece. Welcome. Welcome. We are at the color picker. Paul is the person I drew yesterday. One of the people I drew yesterday. There were only two. The other one was Jeff Bridges. I will highlight this, so if you want to go back and watch the parts that you missed, you are welcome to do so. So you can also say I only want to pick up a color from the layer I'm currently on. So when I try to pick up this color, this light green, it's on this layer, on a different layer. So you'll see it picked up no color. It decided that that wasn't a color. So you can see right here, it's in the invisible thing. It's literally an invisible. It's a transparent brush, and you can actually draw with transparency, which means you can turn any brush into an eraser, which is neat. And here we are at the beautiful, the wonderful, the pen tool. All right, so this is where I spend most of my time. These are like, a lot of these are just like the regular pens that come straight into Clip Studio. Like, you don't have to do anything extra, you don't have to download them. The most popular and useful one is called G Pen. It's very smooth. It is way smoother than any Photoshop brush ever. And that is not me being a snot about Photoshop. It's just, it is the truth. If you ask anybody who has used Photoshop, they are very, very, very excited when they play with the G Pen because of how smooth it is. Photo brush. Yeah, good at talking. Why you guys came, because I'm good at talking, right? This is the real G Pen, and it's got a little bit of a texture. I'll zoom in. So you can see how smooth G Pen is, and then see how there's like a little bit of tooth in the real G Pen. You guys are just gonna be mean to me, I'll leave. So it's got a little bit of a texture. This is, again, one that just comes with Clip Studio. You can tell I never use this one because it's still on. But there's like a little bit of a... There's a little bit of a delay with this pen. I don't super love it. It's also very smooth though. But I don't really understand the difference between the mapping pen and the G pen, to be fair. This is the turnip pen. I think this one has a little bit of tooth. Oh no, it doesn't. It's much rounder at the points though. I had to go very light to get that little point. Calligraphy brush. So, as you might expect, you can do calligraphy with it. If you're good at calligraphy, which I'm not. This one is a tapered pen. It's got a little bit of a tooth and it has a little bit of a taper. You can see the brush head, the brush symbol circle thing is slightly ovular. And then this is for effect line, which I don't know what that does either. And then here's the standard texture pen. You can see this one is also oval, but going the other way. Starting to get color confused. Let's pick a different color. Oh, so this is one that I've downloaded. We're gonna go over downloading pens and stuff later. Get a different one, but I can just draw with it, and it makes flowers. So all of these past this part are all ones that I've downloaded. And sometimes I'm just like, I need this very specific thing right now, and I just go get it. And it's using the outside color is my main color, and the inside color is my secondary color. So if I want, I can make it a little less jarring. Oops, I have to click on the main color again, or it just paints in the secondary color. This is one of the brush sets I downloaded. Yeah, see, sort of behaves like a spray paint in that if you stay, it sort of does that. But it's got a lot of like fuzzy texture. I don't remember why I downloaded it. I might have just thought it was neat. I use these ones a lot if you were around for my the big illustration I did of my desk. I used these Mamio ones, and I like absolutely recommend them. They're fun and they're very pretty. So there's just a bunch of variations on the Mamio. And then there's the marker pens, which I use very occasionally, but not often. They're very smooth. They're supposed to blend well. Like, you can see how this felt pen is being affected by all the colors underneath it. And it's not an opacity thing, it's just that's the way it does. Blending mode multiply. It's just automatically set to that. Fill in mono pen. Marker pen. Like, I legit don't know what any of these do. I just... Flat marker. I think they're supposed to act like alcohol markers, but I've used my alcohol markers and they don't behave this way. The pencil tool, so these are also pretty standard with the Clip Studio Paint. So this kind of looks like, it says real pencil, but it kind of just looks like a colored pencil to me. But I'm not gonna go over each of them. Just know that they're here. They exist. Chalk pastel, like, these are all just textured brushes. What you really want to pay attention to is like the G pen and stuff. These ones are actually interesting. The watercolors and stuff. You can see it's being affected by all the stuff around it. That's dense watercolor. Here's opaque watercolor. Just eats that all up. Smooth watercolor. Sort of blends. Paint and apply. But yeah, watercolor, like, doesn't really act like watercolor, but it does like pick up the colors around it and let it be influenced by it. So yeah, it's fun and cool, and I used it for, again, 2 of them. I did it for my uncle in the barn picture. And the other one was the desk picture, the desk illustration. So those 2. This is the airbrush. I use it mostly for Xoos's freckles. Let's be real. Tone scraping is pretty much the same. And these are cool. These are the effects brushes. And it comes with a bunch of them. Like, it comes with these stars and stuff. Star B. It just comes with them, and they're in Clip Studio. I use them sometimes, but most of the time I'm like, I need this one particular thing, so I go get it. Like this. I needed this, like, laurel crown shit. I don't remember why, but I think I was making a rug and they needed like a laurel crown theme on it. I use the dotted line one all the time. If you look at my about section, odd. If you look at my about section, you'll see all of my stuff is lined with dotted lines. Excuse me just a moment. Sorry about that. The doorbell rang and I was confused. Yeah, I did do a cape versus the leaf design. You like all my albums? I had to name the theme just for my own sanity of keeping track of my files, and it's called the Paper Eye theme. Are you sure? So there's we're on to the erasers. I don't know why you would think I'd put ghosts in my overlay. That'd be silly. So this is just erasing the one layer, so there's a layer below this. If I go to that layer, I can erase that layer, but like, does not work on all layers. There's the regular hard brush. There's a soft brush. There's a kneaded eraser. If you've ever worked in pencils or charcoal, you have used a kneaded eraser in real life. It is not meant to erase so much as it is to lighten up what you're working on. Like, you want to lighten up your line work or whatever before you go into, you know, watercolor painting, or maybe you made a section too dark in your charcoal and you just want to roll the kneaded eraser over it and pick up some of the color that you put down. That's what that does. So the interesting and fun thing about Clip Studio Paint is if you go down here and pick the clear, you can turn any brush into an eraser. Okay, Rain. You want eraser flowers? Eraser flowers. And here we have the blend and liquefy tools. Yeah, it's like such a cool little thing that Clip Studio has, and I don't think Photoshop has it. But here we have the blend and blur, like does what's on the tin, blends and blurs. I usually use the blur option. It just does what I expect it to do more often. I think because I did a lot of work in a program called Open Canvas, and it works more like Open Canvas. There's also like the fingertip blur. There's also the old-fashioned copy stamp, so if you want to copy another section of your painting or your illustration, you could just do that. This is like if you were editing, if you're doing photo manipulation and editing out like skin flaws and stuff, you would use the copy stamp. But it's also just fun to hang out with, fun to like do weird things with. Especially when you just like play with it. But yeah, so that's the copy stamp. And oh yeah, Liquify. Liquify is brand new. It's only been in for like a couple of months. And a lot of people have been like, well, it's about fucking time. And honestly, yes. I used to have to put things into Photoshop to liquefy or morph them, but now I don't have to. If you were watching yesterday, I liquefied Paul's face because I made his forehead too small. But you can just push things around. So this is push. This is expand. This is pinch. Push left, it will only go left. Like, even though I've gone right, it's not pushing it right. Push right. Same thing, except to the right direction. Spin. What's this called? Actually, twist? Twist clockwise. Twist counterclockwise. I have to keep in mind that you can't see the whole canvas, I'm sorry. Alright, paint bucket, one of my favorite tools. Let's make a new layer real quick. We're gonna pretend that we are drawing a thing. I'm just gonna draw like I don't know, a box. A beautiful, beautiful pink box. And we want to color in our pink box. So we're gonna go. I'm gonna mark this layer. Okay, so here's the layer I'm on. This is our box layer. Layer 3. Let's name it box. Box. Layer hygiene. And then we're gonna turn this into the reference layer by clicking this little lighthouse looking thing. I have no idea what it's actually supposed to be, but it looks like a lighthouse to me. And we're gonna go down to our layer below that. And we're gonna pick our fill bucket and we're gonna click refer to other layers. We're gonna have our tolerance up a little bit. We're not gonna close any gaps because I think I have closed all of the gaps. And we're gonna go refer to multiple layers. You guys probably can't see that. So refer to multiple layers. Reference layer. See this little... whatever that is. Lighthouse, maybe. And then we can pick whatever color we want. Make it a slightly purple box. And it'll fill in the lines for you. And if you hit close gaps, it'll even close gaps for you. It just does the thing, and it's amazing, and it saves me so much time that I don't have to sit here and line edge everything and all that crap. It will save you all of the headaches, and it works on vector layer too. So if you're you can't fill with vector layer, but you can, if your reference layer is vector, it will work with vector. In fact, there's even a thing here that says fill up to vector path. So if you refer only to the editing layer, it will only refer to whatever's on the layer that you're in now. So let's go to the green layer. And let's pick that color. So there. Yeah, I have it still on closed gaps, so it closed all those gaps. But you know what? I'll turn it off. Et voila. And then in close and fill, it just yeah, turns, like, it finds the stuff that needs colored. I don't know how it does this. It just finds what needs to be painted and does it. I'm not entirely sure what witchcraft it does, but you know. And then there's paint on filled areas. I know how that works in Toon Boom, oddly enough, even though I've never used Toon Boom, but I've never used it in this, but I should at some point. We will move on. Yeah, I forgot to show you that you can, I said earlier that you can grade your paper / color your paper later. You just go to the paper and go to this little square, change layer color. And let's make our paper like, let's go with like a soft green. And voila. So now, gonna go. I'm gonna use our box layer, it's fine. And then this is just the gradient tool. It made a gradient from this gray green to the bright green, because those are the colors that are currently on my brush. I don't know if we're zoomed in or zoomed out. Okay, we're zoomed in. Where am I? I don't even know where I live anymore. And it will fill whatever you want. So let's make a circle again. And we'll go to the gradient, and then you can pick all of, like, there's a bunch of gradients that are already there, but you can also make your own. But let's pick midday sky. And it made a mask that's the blue part. So it automatically made a mask so that it doesn't fill the whole thing. It has filled the whole thing. Like if we disable mask, it's absolutely there, but the mask makes it disappear. So that's how that works. It's not that different from Photoshop. If you've used Photoshop, there are different settings down here. Like you can flip it. You can change. Where's the thing? Flip advanced settings. I don't remember. Oh fuck, Rain's on. Rain is busy. You. Report. Next up. Next up. Block. And then also we can get the fuck out of here and never come back. There we are. Sorry about that. Let's go back to learning with Xoos. Okay. Figure. I use this a lot because my hands are not super steady, but also I use this a lot in vector work because it makes super clean lines in the swoosh. So I could just make like super straight lines. Let me pick a color you guys can fucking see. Et voila. I'm not even in the right corner, I'm sorry. My bad. The curve tool. Draw the line, and then you decide the angle of the curve. Polyline. You can make nice straight lines. You can even make a little shape. Continuous curve is a little strange. I'm gonna tell you how to do it right now. You're gonna click wherever you want the top of the curve to be. So this is the one that I use the most when I'm working in vector. If I'm gonna use the like a big continuous curve line, you do not have to make it into a shape. If you get to the end, you can just double click. The other thing you can do is if you click it once, it turns into an angle. And then this is Bezier curve. If you've used what is it called? Illustrator, you'll understand how Bezier curve works, which makes you one up on me because I don't get it. Is like math involved? I hate it. Lasso fill. Et voila. Rectangle. Makes a rectangle. You can also like you can also make it so that it's not filled. You can do fill and you can do both colors. You can also make the corners like super rounded. This is incredibly useful if you're doing comics because this is how you make really clean, beautiful speech bubbles every single fucking time. I'm gonna turn down the roundness of corners again before I can't find that in my list of things tomorrow. Ellipse tool. You can put it down and then decide what angle it goes into. Again, you have the different types. Just the solid color. That with the fill. Polygon. Same. Nobody can see that. Good job, me. And also, like, if you're weirded out and like you don't know why this won't go away, it happens to me on the circle tool all the time. It's waiting for you to register what angle you want it on. But if you do like if you hold down Shift and make a circle, it still is looking for the angle. So I'm like, what's wrong with my program? Why can't I things? Just click again. And now it's back to normal. It just was waiting for you to tell it what angle the circle needed to be on. But yeah, you can hold Shift with any of these and it'll make like a squared off, like even sized one. If you want a perfect square. Or a perfect circle. These are things that I added, so we will skip that. This is the frame border section. It's clear off some of this. Some of this beautiful artwork I've made by accident. So this is the frame border section. This is this is how you would make oh, I forgot to make a new layer. I was like, why isn't anything working? I'm a dumps. This is like how you would make panels for comics. Jesus Christ. My brain. I'm super good at things. So panels for comics is the create frame, rectangle frame, and then you can cut the create frame in twine. And it automatically makes a mask. So like if I draw on, yeah, we'll leave that alone for now. But yeah, you can create frames of any shape or size. So if you really want like crisp standout frames for your comics, this is how you do it. And there's also a frame border pen in case you want to freehand that shit. Look at the beautiful triangle I've made. It looks like a clothes hanger. I don't think you can see my layers, but they're a mess right now. Look at all that. Look at that, it's beautiful. Ruler tools. I love the ruler tools. At first I was like, the fuck am I ever gonna use this for? But like, definitely I use it all the time. So let us get a new thing. There we are. Goodness. There we are. So I use the symmetry ruler a lot. It just makes it so that if you draw on one side, it draws the exact same thing on the other. I use this sometimes for faces to place the eyeballs correctly. I also use it to make cool patterns. So here, let's go back to the symmetry tool. Oop. If you increase the number of lines to like 10, you can make neat patterns very quickly. There's also the linear ruler. Just makes a ruler right there. Oops, I did not realize that I was making all of these rulers on the same layer. Could have figured that out, but I didn't. Yeah, if you start on this line, you will always stay on this line if you have the linear ruler working. But if you're like not on that line, go wild. Ruler. Curved ruler, same thing. So if you're on the ruler, it'll stay on the ruler. I'm on the ruler, staying on the ruler. Figure ruler, so like say you need a hexagon. because you want to make fun of some NFT bros and you need it for Twitter. There you go, a hexagon. And then you don't have to freehand a bloody hexagon. And if you wanted to do it in like a textured pen, you need to draw this thing over and over again. There you go. Like now I have a layered hexagon. There's lots of things you can do with these sort of things. Ruler pen, you can draw and then it'll make a line. So if you really need it to be perfect and you want to like figure out all of your lines beforehand, you can do that. Or you could just use vector, which would save you so many headaches. Special ruler, I use parallel lines often, or parallel curve was what I was using last time. I was making my own font, so I needed lines that followed a curve, and you don't have to be on this one for it to follow it. It'll continue to make parallel lines. Like you can watch. Here, I'll make my pen real big so you can see it. I'm gonna move my pen straight across. It's still gonna follow that line. Straight across follows the line. So it doesn't matter how bad you're off by, it'll always do it. Guides are like, I use guides a lot if I'm working from a photograph. It helps, like, just be like, okay, this is a really important line. I need to get this right. Here's the guide according to, you know, where the photograph has everything. So it's just, if you're on the guide, it stays on the guide. Okay, Paul. I will continue doing this. To be fair, we don't have a lot left to do. Perspective ruler is amazing. We will do a whole episode on the perspective ruler, but I'm just gonna add a vanishing point here. We're gonna do 1 point perspective real quick. And now, what if I picked something I could see with? There we go. So I could really quickly make a building in perspective. I could if I could see what I was doing. I will show you my perspective drawing later. Let's see. Perspective, symmetrical ruler. We already went over that because it's my favorite. And that is all the rulers. Next, we are on to the text tool. The text tool is not the greatest thing ever, which you would think is a bit odd for something that's supposed to make comics, but you know, sometimes it just do be like that. Like, absolutely Photoshop has the better text tool, but this works. And then if you want to change it, Control A, and we're just gonna and we can also change the font color. Keep keeps adding my shit down here? If you just want to change one part of it, just highlight the one part. You can even change just that little part of the font. So that is the font tool. Now we're on to the balloon tool. This is also a really good way to make, you know, word balloons for oh, it's doing it in perspective. I was like, what is going on here? It's using the perspective tool. But yeah, so you can just, you can very quickly get the thing. If you want to do some original, like, Doctor Strange things. Oh, I have to change this to spline. There we go. You can absolutely do that. The balloon tool and the tail tool are two separate things. There's also a balloon pen, which I don't remember how it works. Oh, because it's where the thumb's thing. Hang on. So many things happening. View, grid, snap to ruler, turn off, snap to special ruler, turn off. There we go. Yeah, it's trying to put me in that frame or whatever. But, that's that. And then this is like line correction for vector, which we didn't get into, but we will get into another time. But that is everything for basics. I hope that helped. I know that's like very, very basic what I went over today. But I wanted to make sure that everybody knew where we were coming from. Wow, I have made a beautiful mess on my thing. I hope you all learned something. If you have any questions, slap them in chat. We'll take them. I'm going to port the other bot that you guys didn't see. Yeah. Destroyed! Alright. We will have to do this next time. But yeah, that was streams. It wasn't incredibly long, but I got through what I wanted to get through. I hope everybody learned a thing, or at least has a little bit more appreciation for all the work I do. I'm kidding. But yeah, we will... Next Friday, we will do a different thing. We will probably do... Maybe we'll do Vector. I'll see what everybody wants. But I really like Vector, and I think it's fun to play with, so maybe I will teach you guys how to do Vector. Thank you so much for coming out. I hope you enjoyed it, or at least found it informative.